Howdy, I'm Luna, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to add to my art archive project, but I'm not adding any of my work from EverQuest 2, and I'm not even adding any of my work from 7 Days to Die. Today, I'm finally going to showcase some of my original works from Neopets.com. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy. Like, when I was in high school, I started playing on Neopets.com, and they had a feature on there called, well, at the time when I started, it was just the Neohome. And I'll go into kind of what it meant to create inside the Neohome. Eventually, it turned into the classic Neohomes, and they came out with a Neohome 2.0 version, which was more of a three-dimensional kind of actually decorating a house kind of thing. So some of you may know I call what we do on EverQuest 2 digital sculpting with a fixed medium, because I do consider this art, and so I had to come up with an artsy kind of name for it. And so I got my origins with with digital sculpting from Neopets.com with the classic Neohomes. So let's just go ahead and okay, so this is what your classic Neohome map may have looked like. This is just showcasing basically what all the room types there were. There were different room types. Each room type cost a different amount of Neo points. Um, the white flower area is the base grass. If you had your Neohome in other locations, because there was like different worlds and stuff like that, the grass would look different. So that depended on if you wanted that to look a certain way for your Neohome. And then the green that you see with the uh, the three trees on it, the three green dots, that is where you could actually build a garden. And the gardens were done a little differently than the rooms, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. So, with your Neohome, you would pick a room type, what type you wanted, and then you could choose if you wanted no doors, or you could have choose a combination of doors. So you could have 4 doors, one on each of the north, south, east, west. You could have 2 doors, like in this picture. You could have 2 doors on east and west. You could have north and west. You could have south and east, and it's just wherever. So you could choose wherever you wanted to have the doors to make your layout. Now, the items, everything is from a top-down view, and so sometimes you would get they would do a great job with the items. Like, obviously, you can tell that's a bed, right? Like, it's got a green pillow, blue striped sheets, it's a red frame. Okay, so it's a bed. But then you would get oftentimes you would get items like this. Like, what even is that? And yes, it was that small. That was the size. This is actually a curvy set of drawers. This is what it looks like from the front view. Um, yeah, so just a curvy black set of drawers, but it's just this black rectangle with a little nub on it. Um, all right, let's see. Oops. So I took this image from the dailyneopets.com because I did not have this saved and I could not get this anywhere else. I will be linking them inside the video and in the description below as well, because since I use their image. But I just kind of wanted to show you what it was like to add. So if you can kind of see here, it's in the yellow box in the top left corner. It says name icy desk. That means the icy desk, which is the blue rectangle, plain rectangle, is what could be moved at the moment. So they have that highlighted. So you could move that around with your mouse and lay it down in places, or you could use the positioning arrows, which is what I used a lot to get perfect 1 pixel away um, with the items. You could change the depth. It could go up and down, being on top of items, below items, and then you could change the rotation. Uh, with minute, you could go big or go little. I can't remember how to do either one, But if you would like to learn more about classic Neo homes, they are no longer available on neopets.com. They have been discontinued since Flash Player is no longer a thing. But if you'd like to read up and learn more about how you would do that, here's 2 links to different websites that go through, including the Daily Neopets, which gave this image, and then jellyneo.net, which was basically where I hung out other than Neopets because it had all the information I needed. All right. So let's go. Now that we've kind of talked about how to sculpt in the classic Neo homes, let's go ahead and look at some of my art. So this is the what my house would have started, like maybe what my map would have looked like. I had to piece this together because I did not actually have my save a copy of my classic Neo home map. I had a garden at the very front, but it was unfinished. I never did that garden. So next is a room, and this room is the entryway. And I did 2 versions of this. So this is the first version that I did. So I did not skin the walls. This is the original walls and floor. The stairs and the rug, and I think the little desk over to the left, are actually made out of what was called dung furniture on Neopets. I just liked the color, okay? I didn't care that it was made out of dung. And then I had this stair going up to this hallway up top, which that hallway I actually decorated in. We'll look at that in a little while later. I used those curvy black rectangle things that for shadow. Um, yeah, so it was very simple. One of the first rooms I ever did for my house. I think actually the gold tile is um, a trophy of some sort. I can't remember, like a sleigh trophy, maybe. I don't remember. But anyway, so that was my original, and then I revamped it because I did not like it. Because if you know me, you know that I redo my stuff all the time. And so this was what the final entryway ended up looking like. So I put the stairs into the wall, so it looks like it's going kind of out, and then they'll have like a landing, and it'll come back, and then you'll be in the room right above this room. I made these rugs down here at the bottom. I added plants and windows. The windows I think are made out of those icy desks that we were talking about earlier. The stone walls, and then there's this over here on the right where you kind of see it's like blue. That is the uh, a waterfall that I created. I think it was like with sketch furniture. The green might be a bunch of litter trays, cat litter trays, like kind of stacked with each other. I don't remember exactly what all I used, but yeah, so that was the new entryway. Still kept the dung a little bit inside the rug, and of course the dung in the stairs. And again, with Neo homes, it was all about perspective, and you had to like stack things on top of each other just to get the right perspective that you needed. Um, this one doesn't have as much of that going on, but we'll keep going and we'll see. So next, come on. So next to the entryway was a gold room, which was the costume room. Again, I had 2 versions of this. And so this was the first version of the costume room. Oh, I should have. I forgot to go to tell you. Okay, so my Neo home, I did of the Defenders of Neopia. They were like the superheroes, kind of like Justice League or Marvel. The Avengers, that's them. I don't watch these superhero movies. For some reason, I was really into the Defenders of Neopia, though. And yeah, so I decided to make their house basically, and so this is their costumes where they change into their superhero forms. And I know I said I started this when I was in high school, which is true. I did, but the majority of this was done in my early 20s. And even probably into my late 20s, I was still working on this house. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that's about my late 20s is when I stopped finally working on it and went to EverQuest 2 for forever basically. But anyways, so yeah, so this was the original, and then so let me show you the fixed up version. It's basically the same except that now all of the costumes are like in cabinets. And I made these little tubes out. Again, this is flat objects, and so it's like I think it was like a glass coffee table. And so I would have one glass coffee table at the bottom, and then put another glass coffee table up at the top, and it would make the illusion that it's a tube. And then I just used whatever little types of items and recreated all of their um, I don't even remember their names, but yeah, all their costumes and stuff like that. The stairs in the middle will go up to the control room, but we'll get to that later. The one over here on the right, that is Judge Hogg's outfit. He's the leader of the group. He was I forget what kind of Neopet he was, some sort of hog, obviously. But yeah, Judge Hogg. That's his over there. Okay, so um, going north from the entryway, I have another garden, and now we finally get to see what the gardens actually look like because they were a bit different than the rooms. Um, so this is what I ended up creating for that garden. Again, so this was more not a top-down version, but a front version. But there was only certain items that could go in the gardens. I couldn't put house items in gardens, and I couldn't put garden items in houses, if that makes sense. And so yeah, so I wrote defend because these are the defenders of Neopia, and put gardens. I was never very good at the gardens. Other people could do like amazing stuff with gardens, but it was all very much just layering things behind each other to get the right effect. And so this is what I ended up coming up with for that. All right. Next. So then to the right of the entryway is another room, and it's the living room. And see how it has, you can see the doors that I've added. So the living room, I only had one version of it. If I had another, I didn't save it. So again, you could see how the perspective that you had to do. So these green couches, they are made out of one, two, three, four, five, six green squares on top, and then six more below that, and then six more below that. So each couch is made out of what is that? 18 little squares, just to try to get the effect of looking three-dimensional using two-dimensional objects. The TV, I think, is probably made out of a few different of those black things, just and they are angled to make it look like it's standing up with a poster on it. I made a little game console out of cat toys, I think. The rug is rugs and tables and things all put together. And then I got little plants and the bookshelf. There was probably something that we used that looked like books, but I can't remember, to make a bunch, or just put a bunch of items in there, who knows. And then the book itself that's open over here, that was oftentimes we would use that item because it was like a chair or something, and then it had like the back, so it would make a really good backing for a book like that. So yeah, so that's the defenders living room. The curtains, trying to keep with the theme of the red, yellow, and black, which was Judge Hogg's colors. And even like these beanbag chairs are Defenders of Neopia beanbag chairs because that was their colors. Okay, so going north from that room, we're going into the kitchen. Okay, come on. Come on. There we go. So this is my kitchen. This was like my favorite thing that I had created in this house for the longest time. This took me years. I feel like I did redo it a little bit, but I do not have the updated version because this little shelf over here, I know I got more of them and did the stacking angled thing that makes it look 3D and turned it into a fridge. I think I even added magnets. But yeah, so the counters are stones, a bunch of stone furniture. It was like these could be tables and chairs and everything. You couldn't change sizes in here, so I just kind of made everything fit. But I stacked them all on top of here to make the counter. I got a microwave and an oven. And then as I had been building my house, once you build the room, you would have to demolish the whole thing to build it again to add doors to it. And I realized I didn't have a dining room in my original floor plan. So I added a little door, which is actually a window, I think, with a little cat toy for a handle um, to go to the next room. And there was items, they might have been jack-o'-lanterns I hid behind the door, and that's giving the light effect on the floor because they're actually going to go outside. And then also in the window up here, um, which the plants there are covering up stuff. And I got a faucet and the cloud, I think that's a cloud rug, looking like bubbles in the sink. So yeah, I love this. And of course, this says Defenders of Neopia out of cat toys, but hey, they worked. This is where I was really using the arrows. It made it so much easier to get stuff placed. Okay, so going. Oops. Oh, there we go. Going from the kitchen to the left is the dining room, and the dining room that I had forgot to add in my original floor plan. Um, and so this is what it looks like. This was probably one of my later ones when I started learning how to do outdoor scenes. Basically, this green square was all we had for grass. That was it. This is what everybody used. I made this picnic table out of, I think, these little gold things that you see everywhere. Those are like wall, like 4 plates that go on the wall. Um, and so they were cheap and I used them a lot. To because they make great lines. um, but yeah, so I have the building over here, and then a little walkway, and then the dining room is very busy. The rug is like a stamp table, maybe, and it's got ropes on it. I don't know. And then we keep them with the red, yellow, and black theme, which this is what it looks like when you wallpaper a room, basically. So I use those black things again, the plates, something red, probably a dresser or something, just angled just the right way to give that illusion that it is a three-dimensional room. And then the tree I know is made out of frog rugs. It's like the bottom of a frog's face, and then the lights coming through from the sunshine are, I think, those jack-o'-lanterns again. All right. So then north of the kitchen is the gymnasium, I believe. All right, yep, the gym. So in this room, I did not tile the floor or the walls. I did add mirrors. These weight sets and things like that are items that came. Same with the jump ropes and the balls. The hoop is made out of, I think, like a brick bucket, and then there's a coconut inside of it to try to like give the illusion that it's because it's almost the same color as the wall. And then I just used little objects to make the little lines on the floor of the gym. So yes, this is where the Defenders of Neopia can go work out. um, Going north from the gym is a garden that again I never got to. I hated doing gardens, and I planned for 3 in this house and only finished 1, so that should tell you something. So yeah, so it was gonna be like a workout garden. There was some stuff that was like go in gardens that was workout stuff, and then I was also gonna see if I could attempt to build like, I don't know, a soccer pitch or something like that. Never got around to it. But next to the garden is the swimming pool. And so the blue water is actually one of the more expensive rooms that you could have bought. And then I lined it with something blue, and then of course covered it up with the green, the one green that we had. But the crazy part about this is this white and black checkered pattern, because I should have had it on here. So there was a poster, and it was like the top 2 pixels of that poster were a checkerboard. And so I don't even want to know how many posters just to get those top 2 pixels, and then I added them together and shimmied them left and right wherever I needed to, and created this checkerboard pattern for my swimming pool. The ripple in the water right here is a lamp, a sketch lamp is what it was called, and yeah, so it's just silly things like that, like just trying to work with what you have, and I love that aspect of digital sculpting with a fixed medium, because it's a fixed medium. Like, you don't have a choice. You got to figure it out how to make it work with what you got, and I think that really brings out the creativity in people. You should in a future video, I have a bunch of saved work of other people did. The only problem is I didn't save their names, so I have no idea who created this work, but I know I didn't create it, and I would love to show that off maybe in a future video. Okay, so next door to the um, gym was going to be a locker room. Again, a room that I never finished or started even, so I don't have pictures of that. And then so continuing next door to that is the Gallery of Neopian Evil. So of course with there's superheroes, there's got to be evil, and they had a bunch of items of the bad guys, and so I figured I'd make a homage or whatever. Like, this is where they can go to remind themselves who is the bad guys or whatever. And so yeah, so it's mostly just kind of like coming up with little areas to showcase like all the posters and the rugs, and made a couple rugs. This rug here, the red and the blue, there was a house being painted in the city that I live in that was using almost those exact same colors, and I was like, huh, I want to use those colors for a rug, because I knew there was Neohome items that were that color. So there we go. So, yeah, so the Gallery of Neopian Evil. So now with classic Neohomes, when you want to build, you can build 3 floors. So it's not just this bottom floor. There could be 2 more floors above this, but you have to have a room underneath a room to be able to build up. Um, and so I had drawn out this design, and I was like, this is perfect, you know. And then when I went upstairs, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to make a room downstairs. And I think I had already built, no, I hadn't built the dining room yet. I don't know why I didn't do a dining room over here, but I just decided to be silly and just have fun with this room. And I made a sandwich. Very simple. The tiling is that chair, I think, that I was making books out of before. It's in the cheapest material room, no doors. I think doors actually cost money too. The Neopoints. The bread is made out of the fuzzy rugs that were in the living room. I don't remember any of the other stuff except for the cheese, which was a cheese table, and it looked like just a slice of cheese. And it was one of, if this might have been the second most expensive item I bought for this house. It had to have been in the millions of Neopoints, and it was difficult to earn Neopoints. At least for me, I wasn't very good at it, and so I think I was gifted one, and saved up or found one for cheap or something, because people could sell on the broker there, and I think I finally found one for cheap, and that's how I ended up getting my 2 cheese tables for this stupid sandwich. Oh my god, this is fun going down memory lane. Okay, alright, so now, going upstairs. Here's the deal. I could not find an image of the second floor, the clouds that would be around it, and it didn't matter where you built your Neohome, the clouds would all be the same. I could not find an image anywhere that didn't have the Daily Neopets watermark all over it, so I decided just to put up some pictures of clouds, and we're gonna go with that. So, uh, this is right above the entryway, so we're gonna start there. And as you might recall, the entryway had those stairs that would go to a landing and then come back up to this room. Uh, that's right. I did 2 versions of this room. Okay, so this first version um, has those trophies that I had in the original entryway version. Um, and I made this domino rug. This table here with the cards came like that. So did this table here with the X plus triangle, that thing. But these cards over here, I believe are made out of cat litter trays and then cat toys on them. And then, of course, I built a pinball machine. Yeah, so it's just made out of paintings, and we got the Judge Hog rug, I think, in there, and then just some other what have you. So when I revamped it because I didn't want uh, the trophies anymore because I wasn't using those anymore because that was in the original entry design, and so I just decided to revamp the whole thing. And here we go. So here comes the stairs from downstairs, looking like they're coming up. I left the 2 tables, redid the card table, and redid the pinball machine. Just basically threw a bunch of stuff in there. I don't even know if it probably made sense at the time. I took out the Judge Hog rug. I don't know, yeah. Just trying to make it work. Put up some fun things on the walls. And then the floor, I don't remember what the yellow was. Probably there was I think there was like a dresser or something that was yellow like that, but to cover up the dresser lines, I used these cat trees and uh yeah, made this crazy pattern on the floor. So, all right. Next. So, going to the right of the game room is the control room. Now, remember, in the costume room, you could take the stairs up to the control room. Here's where the control room is. So, um, this you can see the down below. I tried to make it like small again, working with perspective. Um, Down below is the costume room. The floor in here is made out of peanut tables. I remember that they were like glass on top and then they had like peanut stuff on the bottom, but I thought it was cool like this. I think that these are like a game or something. Um Again, playing with perspective to make this tube thing. I don't know, probably just to jet them places. The writing, where it says like 80 by 90, 80 by 90, was an item that was glitched. And for some reason, it must have been an item that was 80 by 90 pixels. And so I hid it off screen, I think, and then just had the letters showing just to get kind of a text effect, basically. So yeah, so this is my control room. I absolutely loved it. This is another one of my favorite rooms. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go up to the 3rd floor for this next one. Where's my next? There it is. Um, so the stairs will continue to go up the spiral staircase, and so this is what the 3rd floor would have looked like um, before, without the other rooms that are up here. And this is where the observation tower is. So again, I tried to play with perspective. You could still see a little bit of the costume room and then a little bit of the control room. And then I built this. I think this main part of the body is chests. I'm not even sure what any of the. Oh, here's that little black dresser that we've been using this whole time, and then just a little thing. The windows are those icy desks again, and then those chairs that make awesome tiles. So there we go. Easy peasy. Well, not easy peasy, but it was, again, one of my favorite rooms. All right, so back down to the second floor. I coming out from the control room is where I decided to put the boys' bunks. So there was so many um, defenders of Neopia that were male, and so I had to put them in two rooms. Actually, technically, they ended up getting four rooms, but we'll go into that in a little bit. But again, these were rooms I never got to. I never did them, and going from the northernmost boys' bunk, going they would have had stairs leading up to the boys' bathroom, which again was another room I never completed, never even started. So none of that's done. Sorry. All right. So, but if we go back down uh, to the left of the game room over here is the girls' bunk. And here we go, the girls' bunk. So I left the walls the regular wall color. The floor is made out of biscuit tables. I'm not sure why I went with a brown and pink theme, but that just seemed to work. The stairs over here are what lead up to the bathroom. So again, we're gonna do like a landing kind of thing, and then it's gonna come out into the bathroom right above here. And then I tried to decorate each one of the beds to match the girls' costumes. And again, I could not even tell you which one. I used the icy bed. I know that, and then I don't know which defender of Neopia each one would be, but I just kind of invented pillows out of anything that would work, and just made bedspreads. I think that's a jar, a bat jar over here on this one. Just little things like that. Trying to make them look like beds. So then, looking at the map, right above the girls' bunk is the girls' bathroom. And this one does have two versions, but they're pretty similar, but I'll show you. So this is the first version. This room took me forever because the pink tiles here are actually rectangle desks or something. Not maybe not desks. They might have been dressers, rectangle dressers, and they were not cheap. They weren't like super expensive, but it was like one of those things where it's like when you have to buy a lot of them, it gets to be like, oh my god. So I would like buy a few, save up Neo points, buy a few, save up Neo points. I didn't like how the stairs ended up because there's like no room to walk. I didn't like how the toilets look like they're floating because of the perspective. So that's why I ended up redoing it. I know that this table in the middle was also not a cheap item, but also not one of the most expensive either. It's not a table. I turned it into a rug, and the toilets are actually toilets. That's how they look. There's actually an item like that. So how I revamped it was I built these walls out painstakingly out of, I think they were like sand jars, like they were jars of sand, and the pink ended up working really well. For the most part, I kept it pretty much the same. Like I said, I fixed the stairs, fixed the walls, and now the toilets don't look like they're floating. And so yeah, so that's it. Got a little curtains here. I do like this version better. Still not exactly what I had envisioned for this room, but there was just no having it with the walls. So there was just not an item at the time that could work for it. So, but I think this turned out okay. Okay, so now we're gonna go back up past the boys' bunks, and so if you remember correctly, I told you Judge Hogg was the leader, and then the second in command is actually somebody. His name was Brexus. Brexus? I think that might be it. Now I'm thinking about it, that's kind of a weird name. But anyways, I think his name is Brexus, and so his room is this room, and so here we go again. Uh, built the bed spread is made out of a bunch of pillows. The floor, these were like heart toast uh, tables, maybe. I'm not even sure, but yeah, they were painstakingly placed into this tile. Left the walls plain. Um, the top of the bed, I think, is a couch. And then again, here we are playing with perspective, trying to get that 3D look. So yeah, so this was Sergeant Brexus. Yeah, so this is Sergeant Brexus's room. Got some weights to lift, and then if you go from to the left of Sergeant Brexus's room is Judge Hogg's room, and this one I'm going to show you a little glitch that we could kind of play with. So after I had designed the room, I realized I had no place to put the stairs, and so I decided to utilize a little glitch that we could do that we could we could pick up items and move them around with our mouse, but we couldn't move them down below this line unless we use the arrow key. So if we use those arrows, um, then it would we could move stuff down here. So that's why I built this this little landing area for the stairs down here. And I think that blow up, or it's a blow up doll, but the little dog looking thing, that's supposed to be Sergeant Brexus because I think that was the type of Neopet he was. And then lying in the bed is Judge Hogg. Now that's a Judge Hogg bed inside a bed, and I tried to make the pillows and stuff look like there was somebody in the bed, which I think again those are like tables or something. But the Judge Hogg bed that's pretending to be Judge Hogg is the most expensive item flat out that I had to purchase for this Neohome. Again, I think it was gifted to me because I could not afford it. It was insane how expensive this thing was, and so I was just so happy to finally get it for this room. Kept the floors and the walls for the most part. I wallpapered back here, probably with a poster, just to give it some blue, probably to cover up something with the windows. I'm not really sure why I did that blue. It might have just been to cover something up. I don't know. But yeah, he's got a little desk with a drawer that's open, some tables and things. And then so if you go, there's a room to the south which is his bathroom. So there's like this yellow rug here leading into that, and then you could go up the stairs to another room, and we'll get to that in just a second. So going south is Judge Hogg's bathroom, so that completes the square up here. And the bathroom is mostly stone, yeah. So everything in here is built. The walls are plain. The toilet is a toilet that I built out of stone furniture. All the counters, the bathtub, the shower stall, the walls in the shower, all of that was just piecing together different stone furniture to finally get the look that I wanted. And then I remember the floor being a pain, but I honestly couldn't tell you why it was a pain. I can't remember. I think it had something to do with these yellow dressers were rectangles, maybe? I don't remember. Anyways, but yeah, keeping with the yellow, red, and black theme. Oh, that's a toilet paper roll up here in the corner. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm picking up what you put down. What I'm putting down. This was years ago that I did this. All right. So then going up those stairs to this final room on the third floor is Sergeant Brexus, not Sergeant Brexus, Judge Hogg's like den area just to kind of chill out in. So once again, we have the stairs right here. Here's Sergeant Brexus going into the room. Um, I remember building this TV screen was a lot of fun, but the main thing that was difficult was this floor because there's just so many. Those were like moldy cat beds. I think that Neopets was very big on like weird items, and so Yeah, I can't remember why I didn't add more art and stuff around the walls. I don't think there was item counts or item limits in the rooms. I think you could just keep placing until they were finally, until your computer couldn't handle it anymore. And tiling with these, they weren't too terribly expensive. I remember that they were pretty cheap, but it was still a pain to get them even. Throughout, a lot of people didn't even try tiling, and like you first started with tiling, and then you'd move up to wallpapering, and then around that time is when you'd probably start and then you'd also like most people would start off by just laying down the items and not trying to create that three-dimensional look. I remember this was like a rainbow or something like that. It looks like DVDs. I got like a DVD player here, little drawers. But yeah, I think that's the last room that we have to look at. It is. Okay. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this jaunt down memory lane with me. I actually have at least one more video, possibly two more videos planned for Neopets art. We used to do this thing called the Classic Neohome Parade. They had forums uh, on Neopets that you could chat in, and we would host this parade um, where we would showcase uh, people's artwork, basically. And I can't quite remember, but I think there used to be like every month it would be a different theme, and then you had to create a room for that theme or enter a room that you already had that fit the theme, um, that sort of thing. And so I have all if it might be most, but I think I got all of my parade entries. And then if I decide to, the third video that I would make is the other people's work that I had saved over the years. The only thing that has me pause a little bit about showcasing their work is that I don't remember who did it, and um, I hate to put art out there that doesn't have an artist attached to it. But at the same time, it's beautiful pieces of artwork that should be shared with the world. So anyways, I gotta decide what I'm gonna plan on doing with that. But again, I hope you enjoyed my jaunt down memory lane, and hope to catch you all in my next Neopets video. Bye.